What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the TCG Empire YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at Trash Deck Thursday. If you're new here, not sure what it is, it's where we take the deck of the week and kind of pair it against something that is a bad matchup for it. It kind of has a hard time against it. And trust me, I'm tired of doing red too. But when it comes to it, I think Edward Newgate is probably the best deck that you can play against yellow, and I'll explain it why in a minute, but I just want to show you guys the resource as to why I'm using Edward Newgate. So there's this really cool website, it's called onepiecetopdecks.com. When you go to the website, it'll look like this. If you click on deck lists, we'll have the Japan and Asia meta, and then we'll have the English format. So within the English format, we're in Pillars of Strength OP3, and as you can see, the past, I want to say 20 or so, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The past 16 events that are at least right here are dominated by red, which means that red has been doing well. We have a first place here, second place here, red, 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 all first place, red. A yellow did get first place. This is close to the list that I used on Meta Monday. And then we have, you know, red again, red again, red again, red again, yellow again, and then black. This is from the offline regional from July 8th. And then we have red, yellow, blue. So I think it's safe to say that the red matchup into yellow is pretty favorable. So we're going to be rocking with red today. Now, the reason why I chose Edward Newgate over everything is because Edward Newgate's ability to basically take a life is really strong against yellow. Yellow relies on a lot of card effects like the Cracker, as well as the Katakuri from the starter deck. If you are, behind on life, you get extra effects. The Cracker gets double strike, and I believe the Katakuri gets rush if you're behind on life. With Whitebeard, though, because you're taking life at the end of your turn and taking damage, most of the time they're not going to be able to benefit from those effects. So they're not going to be able to bring out the full potential of the cards. So I think red is a kind of iffy matchup. If they high roll you, they high roll you. But when it comes to Edward Newgate specifically, I think that it has a very good matchup into yellow, especially with Katakuri. And the cards that, they might be looking at, you're taking them anyways. And when you can control the board with things like, Squard into, Marco, or Ace, it really makes the deck strong. So this is the list that we're going to be taking a look at today. Let me just hide the face cam just so you guys can overall see. Actually, I don't need to. Awesome. So all these cards here, they're fantastic. I did actually get this list off of One Piece Top Decks, so it's what we're going to be using today. It's super consistent, super fun, but I think this is kind of the best way you can build Edward Newgate to, play into a yellow field and meta, just because, as I said, the ability to rip your own life and make those secondary effects from yellow characters basically useless is super strong. So as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you do enjoy it, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in tomorrow's episode of Final Standings Friday. Alrighty guys, so we are playing against yellow Katakuri. We're gonna see exactly what we can do. So we're going first, so we're gonna be on the 135 curve. Having the double Marco is not that bad, as well as the Whitebeard Pirates. This is actually a really good 135 curve, but we don't have any ace. We don't have much counters. I need to apply as much pressure as possible. I'm gonna keep this just so we can kind of see how we can go. Okay, so we have Izu, we also have Marco, and we have the big Newgate. Let's see. I think we'll grab the blocker Marco, just so that way we have a blocker for the turns to come. And then we'll kind of be able to go from there. He is going to be able to rearrange our life. Okay, so he leaves 2 open. So let's see. I don't think we're gonna need to really activate Squard right now. So we could go Whitebeard Pirates, Ezo. I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll just go 7k and then we'll go Ezo into Whitebeard. So we need to try and get some more counter power in our hand. We need him to start taking life, and we need to kind of be in a spot where we're in an okay spot for the late game. So I did get a trigger. We're going to see exactly how this goes. At least on the next turn with Marco, we're not in the worst spot possible. He is going to have double strike next turn, so it is kind of apparent that we try and get some more combo in our hands. So I think what we'll do is we'll play the Whitebeards first. So we can only grab Marco, which I guess isn't bad. And then from here with Ezo, we can grab another Whitebeards. We'll grab the Jozu just so we have the 2k counter and then go from there. We are going to be at 5 next turn. So we won't be able to KO the Cracker, but we can apply pressure. And if he plays anything that, you know, is slower or lower character count, lower cost wise, we should be okay. So let's see. So to play the Cracker, he got rid of the Shirahoshi. So I know he's down 1 on that. As far as everything else though, not too sure where this will go. So he could do a 7k double attack. So it looked at their own life, they moved it to the bottom. So that's an 8k swing. The 8k, we'll take that because we're going to have to dump too many cards for that. And then this is a 7k. That's easy to block. We'll just drop the Jozu. So we could do 6 and 5. And then we can play the Marco. We could play the blocker Marco though, just to kind of get it out. And then we can actually stand it or replay it too. We do have a couple cards that we can actually kind of get rid of. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Because if I'm at 7, it's a lot easier to do this exactly how I want. The Squad lets us go -4 so that way we can KO the Cracker. But I feel like it doesn't apply enough pressure. Instead, we could go 7, force 2 cards, and then play our own blocker down. Which doesn't sound that bad in comparison. If we were at 8, we could do the Squad into Marco, which would be good. But I think our best bet probably is to just play down this Marco and then go from there. We could even play the Mach, you know, to swing 5 into this, so we could possibly drop 3 cards. But I think the 7k swing will be fine. So we'll do 7 just to get him to dump some cards. Okay, so he decides to dump 2 cards, which is actually kind of what we wanted. And then we have the Marco. And we are at 2, so Marco is live. And we can trash a card with Whitebeard in our hand. So we'll be able to kind of replay. And thankfully, it's going to be a little annoying dealing with the life ripping effects in the next couple turns. But thankfully, he doesn't have less life than us because of us, you know, ripping our own life. So this Charlotte Cracker isn't going to be able to have double attack anymore. Unless he wants to go down to 1 life. But then if he goes down to 1, then he's at a super, like, lethal, awkward spot. So I don't think it's going to be too bad. So he's doing a 7k swing. So he's looking at his own life. He moves it to the bottom. So there's a 7k swing. Honestly, we'll take this 7k. I'm not too worried about that. I don't see very much of what he can try to accomplish next turn. And we also have Ace, which will have Rush. And we can give -3k to the Cracker and go from there. So, okay, so he chooses to leave 2 open. So, let's see. With him leaving 2 open, he could have the 5k counter. Let's see. So we have 4 and then 3. What we could do is we could play down another blocker Marco and then play down the Squad too. But I don't think that that's going to be the best way to approach that. I'm for sure going to end up probably playing this blocker. I think my best bet is to honestly go 5 and then swing with leader too. So I think that's what we'll do. So we'll go 5 into 5 just to kind of force him to burn the 2K or the 2-card event in his hand. And then we can play down another blocker and we can also swing 6. So he's going to have quite a few attacks next turn, but we do have enough combo in hand to kind of be in an okay spot, so I'm not too worried. So I'm going to play down a second blocker and we'll just pass. We did get a Radical Beam, so next turn we'll have more Dawn to work with, which means that we can leave Dawn open for Radical. And if he turns both of these sideways, we can even play the Ace, so that way we can deal with these two, and then start picking off life while his hand is small. Because even though he's in the late game now and can start adding life, if he doesn't have cards in his hand to kind of deflect a life, he's going to be in an even more awkward spot. So he's swinging 7K. Honestly, I'll just get rid of a 2K in hand. Trying to think of what 2K I want to get rid of. Let's get rid of the Jozu. Jozu can gain rush later on, but I think being at the part we're at now, not too worried. And he does have 6 Dawn, so he can't play the Big Mom, and he only has 4 Dawn to work with now. So yeah, no, we're in a fine spot. So we'll just block with the Marco, let that go, use the card action. We'll just get rid of Atmos to replay it. And if he wants to, he can swing 5K with the Cracker, but you know, if he chooses to do anything else, I think we're in a pretty good spot. So there's a 7K swing. Honestly, we'll just block with the Marco and then use the card action. We'll get rid of the Atmos. We're kind of burning a lot in our hand, but let's see. So I could go 3 into 5. That way it gets a 6K body on board, but I could also do this. So we could go Ace, that'll leave 2 Dawn open, and then we can even start swinging with the Ezos onto here, and then we also have multiple swings, so I think that's fine. So we'll go -3K, -3K, and we'll go 2 into 2. We'll leave 2 Dawn open so we have access to a Radical Beam, and then we can go from there. So we could go, let's see. I think what we're going to do is we'll just go 6K. That way we can kind of bait that we have 2 Dawn open, so that way he thinks we have 2 Radical Beam. It'll kind of make everything kind of go awkward. So they got another Charlotte Cracker. So it has a 1K counter, which is fine. And then with this 7, we'll just swing 7, see if he takes it. So he does. And then from here we can pass. We're in a super solid spot. He is at 10, so he can't add life back, like I said, but that's going to be all of his Dawn if he chooses to. So we're gonna have to see how this goes. I forgot to mention within Tech Tuesday how good Edward Newgate is because of the fact that it rips its own life. That most of the time, being yellow, you won't really have those effects work out where, you know, you kind of have, you know, you have less life than your opponent, so you get this effect. So like the Charlotte Cracker. I mean, Charlotte Cracker's kind of useless now. There's no point other than it being combo fodder. So okay, so there's a Cracker, there's a Prospero. It goes for an 8K swing. We'll just block with the Marco, and then honestly we'll use the card action, and we'll just get rid of we get rid of a Whitebeard Pirates and go from there. So let's see. We do have a few swings that we can work with, and we do have a Machino. We can go 5 into 8 to actually pop this Charlotte Cracker. That way we have some more board presence. That doesn't sound too bad to me. So I think what we'll do, yeah, we'll go like that. So we'll deploy the Cracker. We'll go here, -4. And then we'll play down the Marco. We'll pop this. And then we'll go a 6K swing. And then we'll go 7K. And then we have 2 blockers. And I think next turn we have a pretty good stance on lethal, considering the board. And depending on how many swings he comes through, there's a lot he's going to have to deal with, right? So, okay, so he chooses to take, that's fine. So he's at 10. Again, if he wants to play the Charlotte, that is the 10 drop. He's not really going to have any swings that kind of work in his favor. He'll have a big body on board, but he'll have no Dawn open. He'll be at 3 life, but considering how much Dawn we have to work with next turn, I think we'll be in an okay spot, and there's a chance we might even be able to not swing with the blocker Marcos. So, yeah, so our opponent conceded. There was still a little bit of game left when it came to it. I probably would have had one more turn before lethal, but providing, you know, really anything, one more turn of me swinging, he either takes or dump cards, he loses hand advantage, and then from the Marcos being able to block, there's not many attacks he can get through if he decides to turn this Prospero sideways right now. He's not really getting many attacks through, and even with these Marcos, like, I don't have to bring him back, so in all honesty, they're, you know, blockers. I have the Radical Beams in hand. One of the Marcos we could have used, you know, get rid of the Squad, bring it back, and then start attacking with the Marcos next turn, so I think that kind of explains why Red has been so dominant within the meta, you know, the past couple weeks for store championships and stuff. But as always, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in tomorrow's episode of Final Standings Friday.